Good evening, class. For my informative topic, I'm going to be discussing about mental disorders. The main points I'm going to be discussing is what causes mental disorders, the most typical mental disorders we see nowadays, or like the more common ones, and third would be how does a mental disorder impact a person's life, the person experiencing it, and not even just them, but how it impacts the people around them, such as family, friends, coworkers, just anyone surrounding them. And I think it's a perfect time to bring this up due to the fact that we're still in the pandemic. I don't know about a lot of us, but most of us, including me, have to stay inside most of the time so we won't be sick or we won't get our family members sick. And so it does have a negative impact on your mental health. I mean, I know it's having me kind of crazy just staying here most of the day because I like to be out. But yeah, so that's why research says, for example, clinical depression has been on an all-time high due to the fact that gyms are closed, so we can't really exercise, or most gyms are closed. Stores are closed. Just everything's pretty much almost closed. So it does take a toll on a person's mental health. And so for the first main topic I'm gonna be discussing are the causes of mental health disorders. So, for example, what is a mental disorder exactly? Well, a mental disorder is something that affects your brain's chemical imbalance, or it causes a chemical imbalance, and so due to that, it could affect your mood, how you see things, and how you act. And so the what's crazy is scientists have there's no definite answer as to what causes a mental disorder, but there could be many contributing factors, such as, for example, childhood trauma or experiences that you experienced when you were really young, chemical imbalances in the brain, hereditary, meaning it could be passed down from past family generation. Stress could also become a really big factor when it comes to having a mental disorder, and other illnesses could also cause that as well. Those are factors, meaning those of could cause a mental disorder, but it's not a definite answer as to why you're experiencing if the person is experiencing that. Um, and it's important to talk about this because since we can't really know what's causing it, the best thing we could do is seek professional help if you do believe that you're suffering from disorder. So the best thing to do is to talk to a medical professional. Try to get it treated by taking medication or even just talking to someone. Exercising is a good way to treat it, and there's just many ways to treat it. Just self care. Find ways to take care of yourself. So you could just treat it. And then now we're gonna go to the second point, which is pretty important. Which is pretty important because I kind of take this personally because I suffer from ADHD. So right now I'm gonna be talking about examples. For example, which I'm gonna bring up ADHD first. I'm gonna be talking about the most common mental illnesses that people experience today. So the first one, which I suffer from, is ADHD, which is a mental with the actual definition is a mental illness that affects the way you act and focus, which can cause symptoms such as hyperactivity, inability to focus, and etc. The thing with ADHD, I mean, we're still normal, but it does lead to learning problems. Well, that's how I've experienced in the past. It causes learning problems due to the fact that you're just hyperactive, hard to focus, and I think it's one of the most common ones today I see from not just me but my family members and friends. Another really common one and one of the most deadliest ones is depression. We all know a lot of people sadly suffer from depression, and it could lead to suicide, which is honestly breaks my heart. And the actual definition for it is a mental illness that causes sadness or loss of interest, which are the two main symptoms of depression. And if you want to treat your depression, if you know someone suffering it, or if you are suffering from depression, please talk to someone and know that you have a great life ahead of you. Another common one that sadly people experience is bipolar disorder, which is also known as another type of depression called manic depression, which can cause episodes of mood swings ranging from depressive low episodes to manic high episodes. So, for example, it could be like 1 minute, you're feeling sad, you're feeling kind of down, and the next minute you're feeling all excited and hyper and active. And that's actually not a good thing. And if you do suffer from that, you should try to go seek a medical professional immediately. And then so lastly, we're gonna be going into depth about the impacts of what mental disorders can have on you and your like people surrounding you. It could cause family and relationship problems, believe it or not, especially with depression, like the most severe ones like depression, bipolar disorder. It could cause a tear in your family because it is hard, for someone experiencing that. It causes due to, for example, depression. Maybe someone's like losing interest, which is one of the symptoms, or just causes sadness, or just doesn't feel like doing anything. For example, it could lead to poverty. Someone could go into poverty, could have legal problems if they're not mentally well, and could even not only self harm themselves, but they could harm others. So if you do experience those, please seek a professional, a medical professional immediately. And it could also lead to poor health, such as a weakened immune system, other medical conditions, and it can even lead to substance abuse. So that's the reason why I want to bring it up. Like I said, we're in a pandemic right now. Mental illnesses is at an all-time high, especially with domestic abuse and substance abuse. So I just want to inform you guys because I think it's really important. Because maybe you're not suffering, but maybe you might know someone that is suffering. So I hope that you guys learned at least a little bit about it, and to know that my advice is to always just treat everyone with kindness, because you never know what they're suffering, because you can't honestly, most of the time, you cannot tell what a person is suffering from mentally. So I hope you guys have a good night. Thank you.